Hi everybody, it's Charlene. I'm here a few minutes early. I thought I'd jump on just so everyone can find us and that we don't have any confusion about where we are or how to get here. But hello, I know that I'm a little early, and I'm early because I want to make sure that everybody can find me tonight. So thank you. Hi, welcome. All right, so I know you're going to start popping on, and while you do, I just wanted to make sure everybody remembered or read. Hi, Nina. Hi, Cynthia. Hello. So I wanted to make sure everybody read about what you would need tonight. Or again, it's optional. You don't have to have anything. You could just follow along and enjoy the presentation. But if you would like to steep along with us, the number one thing I want to make sure that I share with you is that you're going to need a kettle to boil water. Okay, and just in case you didn't see this, hi Mary, hi everybody. I'm going to try not to wear my glasses tonight. We'll see how that goes. Hello, hi, welcome. Hi, Mandy, thank you for being here, everybody. All right, so what you're going to need is some nice, fresh, cold, clean water, and you're going to have a kettle, and you're going to boil that water, okay? Now, hopefully you haven't already done that, but that's kind of the first thing we're going to do, and I'll explain. All right, so that'll just take a few minutes. If you haven't already done that, get your kettle going. You're going to need your tea box. You're going to need 3 mugs if you don't already have this set up. You're going to need a measuring teaspoon, and what I'm going to have everybody do is put a teaspoon of tea into every filter and stick each one of those filters into a mug, okay? So this is prep, getting ready for the whole tasting. Hi, Mandy. Hi, Tony. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Okay, so preparing, I'll show you that this is one of the paper filters that came in your little kit, right? And one of my best tips to teach people is they come flat, but to fill them, it's really easy if you just take this filter, it's this way, right? If you turn it sideways and you just kind of fold it in half sideways, what happens is you have a little pocket then that you can very easily put your tea into. So you're not trying to separate it while you're putting the spoon in and tea doesn't go flying everywhere. That's usually what happens to me. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Ashley. When I don't take the time, it can get real ugly in the kitchen. You all know, you've been there. Loose leaf tea is not always neat, but it's fun, right? So, all right, so make sure you've got your filters, 1 teaspoon of tea, each tea type, into your filters, and then throw those into any mugs in your kitchen and get your water boiling. Okay. Now I'm assuming you've all met me, or you've seen me, or we've talked through Messenger, but just in case there are people coming here tonight who do not know me, I will do an introduction at 8 o'clock. Now, you are all probably on your phones like I am, so I'm going to ask for a volunteer who may already have the Tealightful Tea Timer app. So if you're a volunteer and you have the Tea Timer app, what I want you to do is make sure that you have it open and ready to go. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have you help with the timing of the tea. Now, that's not critical for everybody. Even if just one person had the app ready to go, then we could all follow that person, and that person could be the leader. So who wants to be the leader for the timing tonight? Hi, Susan, welcome. Anybody have their app ready to go? All right, now if for any reason you do not have your app ready to go, just make sure you have something you can use to time your tea. Okay. All right, so hello everybody. I am going to be the only one on the screen. If you do have video options, just make sure that you're viewing and not trying to participate with a full screen. Okay, thank you. Okay, water's boiling. I don't know if you can see it, but you could probably hear it. It's so loud in here. All right, so this is a full rolling boil. When your water's boiling vigorously, all the bubbles are going like crazy. But one thing I'll teach you is that if you download our Tea Timer app, in your app store, it's free. It's under Tealightful, of course, and it's free. I already said that. Download it because the very first thing that you'll learn about is how to tell the temperature of your water. It's a really great little tip to watch the bubbles. With that said, you know, you might want to invest in a glass kettle, and stay tuned. You may be able to get a new one from Tealightful very soon. We may be having these kettles come back. All right, so, but the point is, make sure you're boiling your water in a kettle. All right, hello, Eric Phillips. Eric Phillips, how are you? Hi, Beverly. Hi, you are also awesome for taking the time to be here tonight. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. All right, so somebody is going to be timing. I'm not sure, hi, Beth, who my volunteer is, but just know that I'll be calling on you and somebody will take care of it, I'm sure. All right, so let me just ask, does anybody know the time? I can't see that right now, but I'm asking because I want to make sure I start on time with our introduction. So this is like the little prep, getting you ready. Hello, Tony. How are you? Hi from Ohio. Hi, Diana. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. All right, so I'm the only one on camera tonight. Hello again. Hello. You guys are so cute. Hi, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. Hi, Peter. I don't know. We could just go on all night. This is so fun. Okay, so hi, guys. Does anybody want to tell me if it's 8 p.m.? Because if it is, we're going to start with the officialness. Okay, thank you. You're all awesome. Move to the left. Oh, my left or your left? How's that? Are we good? Eric's trying to center me. That's so nice of you, honey. Thank you. All right, well, let's get started. So for those of you who do not know me, hopefully I'm in the middle of the screen. I'm Charlene Phillips, the founder and CEO of Tealightful, and I'm so excited to be here with you. I am so passionate about tea, a little more, okay? And it's something I truly enjoy sharing. I get so excited when I talk about it and share it, which is why this became my business. When I was a little girl growing up, my mom is actually from Scotland, and the very first thing, or my very first experience with tea, was when we went on a family trip to London, and I got to go to all the Queen's castles, and my family really introduced me to tea time. You might think it would have been my mom, although we drank tea. They introduced me to the whole, like, we're going to stop right now. It doesn't matter what's going on, and we're just going to sit and relax and drink tea together, which, as you know, is very rare in the United States. People don't just sit down and enjoy each other's company. We should, but we don't quite as much. So they have this super laid-back attitude, and they always enjoy tea. It's a tradition. And it was fascinating to me, really, even as a little girl, how calming and relaxing it was, and how happy it made me feel. So, you know, when I got to be an adult, I was looking for a way to take care of my children. I always came back to tea. So I always came back to how much I loved it and how I wanted to do something with it. That's how Tealightful was born. But really, our mission and concept at Tealightful is that we want everyone to embrace a healthy and mindful tea lifestyle, because I truly believe that tea can literally take you to your happy place if you just zone in long enough and relax long enough to get quiet. You will just feel amazing. The healing properties and the benefits are amazing. All right, so and you all know what I mean, because you are tea drinkers, you know, or you wouldn't be here, right? So our goal is to teach you how to incorporate tea into your day, every day, 2 or 3 times a day, taking tea breaks. Okay, so let's get started. That's a little bit about us, and hopefully now everybody has everything they need to join in. So prior to joining, you got your tea, you got your filters, you put tea in them, you boiled your water, and I'm going to explain what's next. So this is a little trick. So we're actually going to steep all 3 cups of tea at once. There's a lot of tea going down here. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the water that just boiled, and don't worry if your water's been sitting for a couple minutes, because truly, when water is too hot in any way, shape, or form for tea, it can really change the flavor. It can kind of cook it. All right, so letting your water cool down just a minute from boiling does not hurt anything. Actually, it's probably going to help a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the boiling water now, or freshly boiled, and we're going to pour it into the Cozy Apple Crisp cup. That's the black tea. And we're going to pour it into the vanilla glazed pumpkin muffin. Okay, so do this with me if you're doing your tea. The reason is because these two teas require boiling water or boiled water. But the third one, caramel spiced pear, which is actually the one we're going to taste first, that one is green. And a green tea and white tea tend to do better with water that is cooled from boiling. All right. Now these two teas take exactly approximately 4 minutes to steep. Actually, the rooibos could go longer. And what I'm going to ask is if somebody could be the leader right now, and if you have your tea timer, set it for black tea, and let's set it for the 4-minute mark. And when the 4 minutes is up, if somebody will let me know in comments, then this water will be at the right temperature to make the green tea. All right? So literally while we're timing this tea, we're letting the water cool down for the green tea. All right, so I'll be watching, and make sure you comment when our 4 minutes is up. All right, so really today's presentation is about steeping. Now, because there's so much information I could share with you, this could literally last the entire evening if I got into each tea type and what's great about it. So tonight, for the purpose of this presentation, what I'm focusing on is steeping and the top 3 things you need to know about steeping, all right? And each thing that you need to know has to do with the components we're working with tonight. So I'm actually going to start with water, okay? So the top 3 things you need to know about water for steeping is that water that is fresh, cold, and clean is best for making tea. Now that clean part throws to people sometimes. They're like, oh, of course my water is clean. But truly, if you have filtered water or even spring water, those two things, those two little things make a huge difference. Because think about it, tea is 95% water, right? So if your water doesn't taste good, your tea is not going to taste good. So with that said, one really great tip is never, ever put your water through the coffee maker to make a cup of tea. All right, because it will taste like coffee, and coffee tea is bad, really bad. All right, so fresh, clean, cold, filtered water. You want to use a kettle whenever possible. Now, I know that there's a lot of controversy over microwaving water. I personally don't feel that loose leaf tea or any tea tastes very good when you microwave water. And I actually found out a few reasons why. You know, I always knew it just wasn't the same. But one of the reasons in particular why microwaved water is not as good as water boiled in a kettle is that it doesn't heat evenly. And actually, it's been proven scientifically that the microwaves, what they do is they make the top of the cup, the water in the top of the cup, much hotter than the water in the bottom of the cup. So what happens is when the tea filter goes in, it's actually being scalded upon entering, and it just doesn't steep properly, okay? Tony, hi, how are you? Oh, all right, I'm waiting for the 4-minute mark. Thank you for your comments. I can't see, but I promise I will actually be responding when when this is over. Thank you so much for everything you're sharing, everybody. It means a lot, and we are all learning tonight. So anything you want to contribute, thank you. All right, so really using the kettle, get one, invest in one. It makes a huge difference. The other thing about water that is kind of important is that, again, as I started telling you in the beginning, is not all tea types do great with boiling water. It's not just a one-size-fits-all thing. So when you are making your green tea, make sure you let your water cool down after you boil it for about 4 minutes, okay? And it'll make a big difference. And again, with that said, let it cool down even for a minute or two from boiling when you make your black and your rooibos, all right? So new research about, 212 is not the, the best for delicate tea leaves. All right, hello everybody, thank you. All right, so Eric Phillips, you're gonna be the leader. When my 4 minutes is up, I'll be looking for you to comment. Thank you. All right, so that was the top 3 things you need to know about water. Who knew there was so much to know about water, really? All right, but the other thing I want you to know is that we actually really want you to know that when you steep Tealightful tea in your water, you're getting the best, okay? So this is what I was going to talk about too. One of the things about these tea blends is that I go to extreme lengths to make sure that I am getting you the best possible ingredients, all right? So whenever possible, organic, all right? Because again, you're drinking the leaves that have been steeped. It's not like you're washing it first and then eating it, okay? So whenever possible, we're making sure that you have organic rooibos, organic green tea, organic black tea. As a matter of fact, we will source herbs from the United States. When we can't find them elsewhere, we will even buy in very small, expensive batches to make sure we're doing organic. So organic herbs, organic tea, organic spices. All right, I'm guessing you said 4 minutes is up. I can't see. And I'm going to add now the water that has been cooling to the green tea cup. All right, and all of you should do the same. All right, great. Okay, so about these 3 blends, while they're steeping, these 2 are now done, right? And while they're steeping, I'm going to teach you, or cooling, so we can drink them without scalding our mouths, I'm going to teach you a little bit about each one of them. Okay, 1 second while I put this away. Okay, so, yes, about each one, we're going to go in order, light to dark. Kind of like wine tasting, right? When you taste wine, you don't start with a full-bodied Bordeaux. You would never do that, because then the white tea or white wine wouldn't taste good. So we're going to do the same with the steeping of this green tea, black tea, and rooibos. And Eric Phillips, if you could please let me know, we're going to time this for only 3 minutes, all right? So let me teach you a little bit about green tea. So first of all, the type of green tea that we use at Tealightful is an organic sencha. And sencha is very unique because sencha can be harvested at different times of the year. There's different flushes or harvests is what they call them. A flush is a harvest season. And the earlier the harvest season of a sencha, the more catechins there are on the leaf. And that affects the actual astringency of the leaf. The other thing that affects the astringency of the leaf is how the leaves are processed once they are harvested, all right? So now one thing I want to teach you about Tealightful is that Tealightful green tea, the sencha that we use, is a second harvest sencha, and it is a medium steamed sencha. Why does all this matter? The reason it matters is because it really affects the flavor, okay? I'm looking. Time's up. Okay. It really affects the flavor. So tea or sencha in particular that has a heavy amount of steaming, that is harvested early in the season is a little more astringent, okay? So when I use sencha for flavoring, I only choose the second harvest, and I only choose lightly steamed, okay? Which actually means that our sencha is a little more forgiving when you're steeping it than, say, one that has been harvested earlier and has been steamed longer. And I'll explain that. So green tea leaves, when they are picked from the tea bush, the Camellia sinensis, what happens is that those leaves undergo a process, and sencha in particular undergoes a process of steaming, all right? The steaming is to stop the process of oxidation. It's actually called the kill green. So the leaves are harvested. They go through a process where they are kind of bruised, and then they're steamed, and the steaming is what stops this from turning black or oxidizing, all right? And so fully oxidized tea is black tea. So the first thing you notice, the first difference you notice about green and black tea is the color, but that is all in the process of oxidation, all right? So we use a nice longer leaf that is not cut too fine, that is not steamed too long, and that is in the second harvest of the season. So people always say to me, I do not like green tea, it is bitter. And I say, try Tealightful green tea. There are reasons why your green tea can be bitter. So the top three things: water temperature, the tea type and harvest, and then the third thing is that you might just steep it too long, all right? And if you do, it can become bitter. So hopefully you've all removed your tea bag from the green tea cup. But if you didn't, I bet you it's not bitter. And again, it's because of the type of tea we use. All right. Now, while these are cooling down a little bit, I'm going to go on to the second tea. So we're going from green tea to the very opposite end of the spectrum to black tea. Now, black tea is tea that has been fully oxidized, all right? Fully oxidized. And what that means, and I want you to think of this in terms of, say you went outside tomorrow and you grabbed a leaf off an oak tree, right? And you crumbled it up in your hand. When you let go, you would see all kinds of little cracks and crevices, right? And you'd see moisture coming out, which would be the essential oils. And when air combines with that, it goes through a process of oxidation. The longer that process is allowed to happen, the darker the tea becomes. So green tea is very lightly oxidized, and black tea is fully oxidized. It all comes from the same bush, okay? But interestingly enough, green tea that is grown in China tastes different than green tea that's grown in Japan. Same with black tea. Depending on where that tea bush is planted, depending on the type of soil, the altitude, the conditions of that ecosystem, tea tastes different, even though it's the same bush, depending on where it's planted. All right, so I will tell you that our black tea is actually a combination of black teas, all organic, that I blend myself, not just black tea from one country, but we use a combination. In several of our blends, there's many combinations, but in most of the blends, it is a combination of tea from Sri Lanka, or called Ceylon, and then also tea from China called Keeman. And then in some of our more hearty blends, we use tea from India, Assam, which is very rich and hearty. That's where the chai would be. It would be a rich, more hearty flavor. So there are all kinds of black teas that taste different depending on the country and depending on how they're grown. And they're really nice when they are in synergy with each other. So that's what I do. I'm the blender. I make sure it tastes good. All right, so then the next thing we do is we flavor the leaf. So Cozy Apple, for example, is a black tea blend. Again, that's organic, that I make here in house. And then I'm flavoring this with 2 different flavors. We use a really lovely apple cider flavor, and then I'm using an oatmeal flavor. And then we're blending that with a whole bunch of fruit that has an apple and almond flavor. It has cinnamon in it. It is like the best, and it's sold out. But it's coming back soon. So this has been so popular. It sold out so quickly. But just know that pretty soon we're going to put it back up, and you're going to see when it is arriving. We have to put it out there. The demand is overwhelming. So, all right. So Cozy Apple, one thing about black tea that I want to tell you is it's really good with milk. All right. So the top 3 things I want to tell you about black tea is that it's fully oxidized. It is very astringent if you oversteep it. It's excellent with a little bit of milk. And it is the most consumed tea type we have in the USA. So we love black tea, and mostly iced in America. All right. All right. So I highly suggest a little bit of honey and a little bit of milk. I have that heritage where you put milk in all your tea. Never in green tea though, definitely in black. All right, we're gonna move on and talk about rooibos while these are cooling. I know you really wanna taste it, but we have to let it cool. All right, so vanilla glazed pumpkin muffin, one of my very favorite things to have in the evening. The top 3 things I wanna tell you about rooibos is that it is a very unique herb. It is grown in the Cedarburg mountain range in South Africa. It has been grown there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It has been used by the people of Africa for all kinds of things. Most notably, it is known for its really intense mineral content. It has everything you can think of: calcium, potassium, magnesium, zinc, iron. It even has fluoride, which black tea does as well. And one of the things that I really love about rooibos is that it is relaxing, and it's relaxing because of all those minerals, all right? So our bodies need those minerals to relax. Our muscles do. Often in Africa, the athletes will drink rooibos in place of commercial sports drinks. It is amazing as an iced tea. It is great with milk. It is caffeine free. I'm going over 3, I know I am. But this one has so many, I have to keep going. And you can't oversteep it, okay? So the longer you let it steep, really the better it is for you. I mean, it can get a little strong if you leave it there for an hour, but it can't be hurt by oversteeping, okay? So that's my rooibos, I love rooibos. I wax poetic about rooibos. I love it so much. All right, so let's get to tasting. I'm going to go tell you a little bit about the caramel spiced pear too while I'm at it. So one of the things about the caramel spiced pear in green tea is that you won't want to put milk in green tea, okay? But one thing I like to do with my green tea is add a tiny bit of honey or natural sweetener. Really, I like to do this with most all teas, especially spiced teas, because spicy flavors really pop with a tiny bit of sweetener. And I'm telling you, it could just be the tiniest little bit. I think I put like the size of my thumbnail in there just now. But the tiniest little bit of sweetener will really make all the spices pop. All right, so this is made with our organic sencha, and I use our lovely organic compliant caramel flavor, which is one of my favorites. This one actually has dried pear, it has apple, it has cinnamon. It's so good. It has pear flavor, and I truly am loving this one. So relaxing and calming. All right, so I'm ready. If you're ready, hopefully this tea is cooled down enough, and we're gonna go light to dark. All right, so the very first thing I suggest is that you use a mug that is not a double wall mug. All right, that's another steeping tip. I'm using a double wall mug. And one of the things that you might have noticed in China, how there usually are not handles on cups. Well, there's a reason for that. The reason is because they like to hold their cup. And if the cup is too hot to hold, that means the tea is too hot to drink. Another tip for you. So I'm just hoping mine is cooled down because I do have a double wall mug, but I think it's been long enough. And the reason I'm encouraging you to let your tea cool down is because these are natural flavors. And if the tea is too hot, it will taste like nothing. It will burn your tongue and you won't taste it. All right. You won't taste the flavor. True of anything. I'm someone who loves everything boiling hot, but I burn my tongue and then I can't taste it. So I've learned to calm down, especially with tea and hotness. All right, so let's try it. You ready? You're probably all done with your tea by now, but I'm hoping you're still with me. All right, let's have a sip. What does everybody think of this one? One thing I really like to do when I'm sipping my tea is I sit and I inhale it. I didn't inhale it, but I usually sit and breathe very, very slowly and just get in the mood of like, I'm quiet, nobody's bothering me, and I'm drinking my tea because the aromas are so relaxing and soothing as well. All right. And drink your tea slowly and reverently. I'm sure you've seen that quote. But really drink your tea slowly. Eliminate distractions. Get someplace where nobody can bother you and take your time. I always like to be really mindful and use a glass cup because I love the way the tea looks. I love the colors. I love how clear it is. And that's all part of the experience. Okay. Please share comments if you've tried this. The more it cools, the more you'll be able to taste all the different flavors in there. Really, they are all there. So let it cool and give it a taste. And for that matter, this one makes a really good iced tea too. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tony. I can actually read that. Oh, great. You're also awesome. Thank you. Thanks for all the positive feedback, everybody. I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful that this is helping you relax. We all need that right now, right? Well, again, with that said, you might not want to drink too much of the black tea right now unless caffeine doesn't affect you. So in comparison, green tea has about a third or less than the caffeine of black tea. And black tea has about a third of the caffeine of coffee. So generally speaking, tea in general is less caffeinated than coffee. But I'll tell you another little trick or tip is that especially our blends. So when you drink a Tealightful green tea blend, most often there's quite a bit of fruit mixed in and spices. So when you're making your cup of tea, it's not like you're using a full teaspoon of green tea or a full teaspoon of black tea, because there's all kinds of chunky fruit in there. You're probably seeing it, right? And herbs and spices. So are we really having a full teaspoon of green tea right now? Probably not. And same is true for the black. Okay. All right. So let's try this one. I'm missing milk. I'll just deal. I encourage you to try it both ways. Love it with almond milk. Yep. This one was inspired by my daughter, who's a huge Apple Crisp fan. As a matter of fact, the last time I did this video internally for our brand ambassador group, she was making Apple Crisp at college. I didn't know, but we love it. And she's always the one so ambitious about, we gotta make Apple Crisp. And so I've always thought, I wonder if I could make a tea that tastes like that. And I think we came pretty darn close. What do you think? Oh my gosh, I love that one. I promise it's coming back soon, okay? All right, now I just had a couple sips. Please share any comments that you can. What do the flavors remind you of? What does it smell like? Is it evoking any memories that are happy? Is it making you happy generally? I hope so. All right, and then the last one, oh, my favorite. So the vanilla glazed pumpkin muffin, you saw my little post where I showed you how I turned this into a vanilla pumpkin maple latte. All right, so inspired by all of my brand ambassadors who gave a list of all the sugars they used one day when we were talking. Someone said they like to use maple syrup in their tea. So I tried that. I did a little maple syrup. This is how I made the latte. I'll share the recipe, the full recipe, probably in a video tomorrow. But I used a little bit of maple syrup. I used almond milk. And then I used a non-dairy whipped cream that was maple vanilla. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. And sprinkled it with some cinnamon. So really a tea latte is just, you know, have as much tea and twice as much milk. That's simply how it's done. Any kind of milk that you like. I do suggest you warm your milk first because if it's too cold, it'll cool your tea down. And then why not some whipped cream? Yes, yes, whipped cream. All right, let's taste this one. Tell me what you think. Now I'm going to need to go to sleep. Really, I encourage you, maybe don't drink all of this right now. Wait till we're done if you're ready to go to sleep, or if you can, find a nice cozy chair, curl up, and slowly sip this one. So good. I mean, it really doesn't need anything. It doesn't even need sweetener. The flavors are pretty predominant. So this rooibos, I actually use 3 flavors in it. And one in particular is like a muffin cake kind of vanilla that is so good. Oh my goodness, so loving it. All right, so that's all I have for you tonight. I would really love your feedback, and I'd love you to post any questions. I promise I'll answer all of them. Maybe not tonight, but within the next 24 hours in this group for sure. And I'd also like to know, did you like this? Was it helpful to you? Could you see yourself coming back and learning more? Because we have a lot more we could teach you about tea. All right, I hope so. All right, thank you so much, everybody. And before I go, I did want to tell you one exciting thing. So many people have been asking. So today we received a fresh shipment of the Perfect Sip Tea Traveler, our branded Tealightful Traveler, which I love so much. And woohoo! I know you've been waiting. I've been waiting. Everybody's been waiting. But they're back in stock. And tomorrow I'm going to do a little demo and host a giveaway. All right? So I really am excited to share this with you. It's there now if you've been waiting and you want it now. But this is a great little tool. I'll do a full demo tomorrow, but just so you know, it has 3 pieces and the filter just kind of snaps in. So you put your tea right in here, you add your water, you put your little filter there, and you just sip through, okay? So easy. So easy. That's it. Sip. You're done. All right. Thank you again. Thank you for all your amazing comments, for being here, for taking the time. Tea happy, everybody. Goodbye.